Well, hello and welcome to the Industry Group Stadium in Gosford, New South Wales, on the east coast of Australia. It is match day 7 action from the AFC Champions League Elite as Central Coast Mariners take on Johor Darul of Malaysia. Well, Central Coast Mariners have picked up just a point from their opening 6 games so far, so they are eliminated, the only one of the 12 teams you can see here in the East table that cannot qualify with 2 games to spare. But plenty to play for Johor Darul, as you can see, who are well above that line there. The top 8 make it through to the knockout stages. Remember, it is something that the Malaysian champions have only achieved once before. That was in 2022. They were beaten in the last 16 by the eventual winners, Arau Reds, but looking at a good bet to make it into the knockout stages this time around. It's a beautiful day, 24 degrees centigrade, lovely, still warm conditions for the final home game of this competition for Central Coast Mariners. They were having a pretty rough time of it this season. In truth, the A-League champions, who won the grand final, beating Melbourne Victory last season, topped the regular season as well, are lying in 9th place in the A-League, having won just 4 of their opening 17 domestic games. They've not been losing many. Too many draws is the problem, just 4 defeats domestically and 9 draws. They have tasted continental success, as the badge there shows you, the AFC Cup champions last season. Now, of course, the AFC Champions League 2, the second tier competition. But a first continental success, became the first Australian team to lift that trophy, beating Al Ahad of Lebanon by a 1-0 in the final. They found it tougher going though at the very top level, have Central Coast Mariners. Johor Darul, the dominant force these days in Malaysia. They're top of the Malaysian Super League again. 13 points clear after 19 games. They've dropped just 2 points from those opening 19 domestic matches. But can they carry that dominance onto the continental stage? After 6 games, they have 8 points, 2 wins, 2 draws and 2 defeats. They've been pretty tight defensively, conceding just 6 goals, only scoring 9 though, so those defensive qualities mightily important to see them through. No domestic games though for Johor Darul between now and next Tuesday's home tie, which could be crucial against Pohang Steelers of Korea, the side just 1 place and 1 point above them in the table. It could be the decider in terms of who finishes higher in the table, which does matter, because on paper, of course, the higher you finish, the better your game should be in the knockout rounds. They'll still be looking over their shoulder though, because just a point separates them from the likes of Shanghai Shenhua and Shandong Taishan, the 2 Chinese Super League clubs who are just below the top 8 line. So they've done well so far. Johor Darul, they know 3 points here would take them above Pohang Steelers, who don't play until a later kickoff today. And that would put a bit of pressure on the Koreans. There is Hector Bedolio, the Venezuelan, the man in charge of JDT. And the man who has led them to so much domestic success. Former Venezuelan international himself, with 23 caps, 57 years of age now. And restored as manager in January of last year, having spent the previous campaign as the technical director at the club. 2 sides then preparing to come out. Despite being eliminated from the competition, the attitude was very positive from the captain Trent Sainsbury and indeed the manager Mark Jackson ahead of kickoff. Both of them talking about the need to end the competition strongly and try and avoid finishing bottom of the pile, which is where they currently are. 5 defeats and 1 draw so far is all they have to show from their 6 matches. Generally the talk around Central Coast Mariners as well, from themselves and the opposition, is that it doesn't really represent how they've played in the competition so far. So the final home game for Central Coast Mariners. They finish off in Japan next Tuesday when they travel to Kawasaki Frontale. Side in 4th place with 12 points. All 3 of the J-League sides looking good to make it through to the knockout stages. There are the Johor Darul contingents. So a big test for Central Coast Mariners again here. A crucial game for JDT. Would be 3 massive points for them. And qualification would be very much in their own hands with a home tie to come next week. So an historic first meeting between these two clubs. There's a first meeting with Australian opposition in AFC competition for Johor Darul Tazim. The third for Central Coast Mariners against Malaysian opposition, having twice played Terengganu in last season's AFC Cup. A 1-1 draw and a 1-0 defeat away from home in the group stage. Central Coast Mariners embarked on their glorious journey to victory. It was their first season back in continental competition for 9 years. It was quite a return. The teams then, Central Coast Mariners make a couple of changes from Friday's draw with Perth Glory. Lucas Moragis comes in at left back for Nathan Paul, while Miguel De Pizio, who came off the bench last time out, starts in place of Christian Teo Harus, who is among the Central Coast Mariners substitutes. Hayne Ames was a scorer at the weekend. Well, Mikael Doka has 2 Asian Champions League Elite goals this season. Ko Hyung-jin of the Korea Republic is the man in charge of this one. Captains, Trent Sainsbury with the armband for Central Coast Mariners. Nacho Insa is a Spanish-born Malaysian international. Wears the armband for JDT. So Johor Darul Tarim mix it up from the domestic win against PDRM with 6 changes. Andoni Zubiure returns in goal with fellow Spaniards Alvaro Gonzalez and Oscar Arribas back in defence. Roque Meza Quevedo and Eni Israfilov are also recalled to the starting 11. JDT's leading scorer Arif has 4 goals in this competition and is partnered in attack by the Brazilian Bergson, who was a scorer in the win against Ulsan on match day 4. Pre-match huddle then for JDT, whose away form hasn't been the best in this competition. They haven't won in their last 5 Asian Champions League away games, 4 defeats and a draw. And yet to win away from home this season in this competition. So it's Central Coast Mariners in the yellow that get us underway. Johor Darul Tazim in the traditional blue and red striped shirts. They'll be eager to make a quick start here. All the pressure on them, really. Trent Sainsbury did scoff at suggestions that this was a free hit here for Central Coast Mariners, not being able to progress. He answered that suggestion by saying they treat every game the same. There's Alvaro. Roque Meza. Ribas back to Biaure. Beaten at Shandong Taishan by a 0-0, beaten in Korea by Gwangju. The only point picked up on their travels was a 2-2 draw against Shanghai Port on matchday 1. There's Alvaro. It is one part of their game in continental competition they do need to change. Johor. Sainsbury down, the Central Coast Mariners captain. Vastly experienced Australian international, 61 caps for the 33-year-old centre-back. He began his career with Central Coast Mariners, returned last year. Mark Jackson, 47-year-old, he's been in charge since 2023, led them to the A-League title and AFC Cup wins last season. It's a vintage campaign for Central Coast Mariners. It's fair to say, haven't really followed that up though this season. Away by Alvaro. Back again with a Ribas. Roque Meza. Knocked on by Amat. Have won all 9 of their domestic games since their last Champions League Elite game, have Johor, which was a 0-0 draw at home to Buriram United in December. Just one of their last 4 Champions League Elite games, 2 losses and 1 draw in that run as well. Ball clipped out towards Oscar Ribas. Got it on the right foot, knocked away though by Stormroot. Touch off by Jonathan Vieira. Now the captain, Nacho Insa. And now Arif. Just couldn't turn in time. The ball out of play for a corner. Last touch on that from Gal Doka. Led the club to the Malaysian double in 2022 before becoming technical director. Now back on the bench again. Played for Newell's Old Boys in Argentina. There's Vieira. Into space now for Arif, who fires it in. Puts it against his own player, Alvaro. Bright start though from Johor Darul to Zim. Okay, Mesa with the touch back to Amat. Jordi Amat again. He represents Indonesia at international level. Another of the Spanish-born contingent, though. Heavy Spanish influence on this Johor Darul Tazim side. Is Rafalov. On to Nacho Insa. off again. Space for Arribas. Stepping away from Faisal. By Jordi Amat. A bit of space for Arif. Docker with the touch off as Central Coast Mariners get some kind of possession of the ball. It's being dominated by the Malaysian champions in the opening moments here. Nocho Insa from Jonathan Vieira. Arribas waiting for the ball to come across from Alvaro, but switched it back the other way to Israfilov. Amat. There's Arribas. Central Coast Mariners at the moment just trying not to be pulled out of position in these early spells of pressure. To Zubiauri. Fourth successive season now that Johor have featured in the group stroke league stage as it is now of the Champions League and Champions League Elite. They're fifth in total. First made it to a group stage in 2019, having been knocked out in the preliminary rounds 4 times previously. The ambition is to be much more competitive at this level and reach the knockout stages more regularly. Certainly on course for that this season. Central Coast Mariners with a bit of possession of their own. And Caltac has it. Done by Depizio to Faisal. Crosses the ball into the centre. It was a header away by Jordi Amat. Back with Caltac. Tussle for that ball in the centre. James has come up with it. His steal. Now Depizio. Rue was forward. Here's Faisal. Tried to take the long way round, and Oscar Arribas was always comfortable. Through there for Abdallah Faisal. Short to Alvaro. Israfilov was under a bit of pressure. Forced to go long. Rue with the initial header back for Central Coast Mariners. Everty helping it on for Johor, and that's a free kick. By Amat to Arif. And he's gone on the outside. Pulls it back to Heberty. Heavy touch though from the Brazilian. Constant threat, Arif out on that right wing. There's Arif again. Goals in the competition so far. He's almost scored half of Johor's Champions League Elite League stage goals. Alvaro. is Rafalov. Azerbaijan international is Rafalov. Here's Amat. Arif clipping it forward, cut out by Brian Kaltak though. He picks up a yellow card tonight. Kaltak, he will miss the final Champions League Elite match away at Kawasaki Frontale next week. No surprise in that, is there? Johor utterly dominant with the ball. Here's Vieira. Vieira again. Stabs it through towards Bergson. Well, the angle was always tightening. Lovely vision from Jonathan Vieira. Bergson making the run, getting across Trent Sainsbury. Did enough though, the centre-back. Centre-back whose career has taken him to the likes of PSV Eindhoven and even Inter in Serie A, where he made just the one appearance. Vieira. Heberty. Good pressure from Docker. Now Arif. Well defended by Ames. Throw for Johor though. Ames again getting the foot in. Well, it looked as though it had gone out of play, but the assistant was happy to wave play on, and Ames brings it forwards. Back from Roux. Roux to Sainsbury. Now back with Ames. Good pressure from Johor when Central Coast Mariners have the ball. Here's Kaltak. And now it is a throw for Central Coast Mariners. Well, everybody stopped because they thought the ball had got out of play. Clip forward by Kaltak. That's a hefty challenge by Amat. Through the back of Ryan Edmondson, who was capped for England at under 19 level. There's Faisal, whips the cross in. It was a teasing delivery. Nobody really in there though for Central Coast Mariners. And an easy claim for Zubiore in the end. He now releases Heberty. Switch to Arribas. Jonathan Vieira always available. Wears 10 and plays very much in that 10 role behind the centre forward Bergson. Here's Arif. Alvaro. Arribas. Switched in field again to Nacho Insa. Okay, Meza. Getting too much joy down this near side, Johor. Opportunity now, maybe. Not too much on that for Roque Meza. Certainly having more success on the far side with Arif running at Moraugis. It's only the second job that Mark Jackson has had after spending 6 months at MK Dons. Won just 6 of 25 games. With a win rate of 24%, it's significantly better, in charge of Central Coast Mariners at 47%. Nixon's delivery is blocked away by Kaltak. Quarter of an hour gone, 0-0. Chance to counter now, though, for the home sides. Challenged by Roque Meza. I think he's hurt himself in the process as well. He just landed awkwardly. He's on the stretch there, actually. Yeah, takes a couple of big divots out of the surface as well, Roque Meza. Potentially painful one. It was an awkward-looking challenge, actually, from the Spaniards. He's 35 now, Roque Meza. Who's spent a majority of his career in Spain before the move to Malaysia, played for the likes of Gijón, Valladolid, Sevilla. He's clattered into a bit as well by Docker. It's just the knee you worry about. He was very straight-legged as well as he slid through. Does look in some pain there. The Spanish midfielder. He's back on his feet again, which is good. Badolio, I think, just checking that all is well with him. Still doesn't look thoroughly happy, though, does he? Uncontested drop ball to restart these days. Johor were in possession. Here's Alvaro. Storm route, boxed into the corner, but happy just to shield that out of play. And not too happy with the challenge of Bergson. Who's been at the club since 2022. He was a Brazilian under-20 international. Has a terrific scoring record domestically for Johor Darul Tazim. 70-odd goals in 50-odd appearances. Just the one, though, in the Champions League Elite this season. The 3-0 win against Ulsan on match day 4, one of 2 wins that JDT have managed in the competition this season. Led out by Jonathan Vieira to Amat. It's Rafalov back to Zubia Ure. Here's Roux. Sainsbury. Edmondson clattered again, not for the first time. It's by Alvaro now from Eddie Rafalov. Another one like that, and I think the Azerbaijan international will go into the book. Not been too much service up to Edmondson. Though, just letting him know he's there. Two goals in 11 A-League appearances this season, Edmondson. Kaltak. By Sainsbury. And Kaltak immediately under pressure from Heberty, who does well to pick up the ball. Here's a Rebas. Skipped away from the initial challenge. In towards Bergson. Oh, goodness me. It's a poor challenge on Jonathan Vieira. No wonder he can feel his ribs. There's no attempt for the ball there whatsoever from Depizio. Just a little bit of an edge creeping into this game, 1 or 2 challenges. No further action, surprisingly, for that one. Here's Roux. And now Steele. And played out by Ames. Clip forward for the run of Harrison Steele, but didn't get that. Here's Depizio. He finds Faisal in space. Pull back to Roux. He dummies it, shifted on by Docker. Played out by Ames. And fed into the penalty area. Being comfortably cleared away by Alvaro. And the chase on for the loose ball. And Sainsbury did well. Showing more going forward now, Central Coast Mariners. He's struggling here, Roque Meza. It didn't look good, did it, when we first saw the replay? Well, it does look as though Hector Badoglio is going to be forced into a change. Tough character, Roque Meza. He's tried to battle on, but it's no good. Fake is going to come on and replace him. Yeah, one more challenge was one too many. It will be a feat to come on. Malaysian international. Straight swap, defensive midfielder. Comes from a footballing family. He's the younger brother of Irfan Faisal, who also plays in Malaysia. And you do wonder what he's done there, Roque Meza. As though it was the knee that took the brunt. And he slid in for that challenge. It was a very straight leg, and there was really for the knee to bend. That's when he called enough is enough. Roque Meza's day ends on the stretcher. 25 minutes gone, 0-0. Fake was ready to come on pretty quickly. It's almost as though they knew that he was unlikely to see out the first half, despite his willingness to battle on. It's Caltac. Sainsbury. Rebas all the way back to the goalkeeper. Touched onto a Rebas. Nacho Insa. Jonathan Vieira trying to wriggle his way through, but is fouled there. It's a free kick. Miguel Pizio is certainly getting stuck in. Fouled by Faisal that time. Nacho Insa. Jonathan Vieira. Arif skips away again. Arif delivers the ball in. Sainsbury is there though. Lucas Moragas is really struggling against Arif out there. Here's Heberty. Now Amat. A lot of the ball the away side, but not created a great deal. Caltac's header away. Challenged by Arif. Vieira's touch off to Heberty. There's one over the top towards Bergson. Sainsbury, though, close attendance to the Brazilian. Bergson again. Arif made the run for him. It's back with Heberty. The ball in those midfield areas, Heberty. Touch from Bergson, but behind Jonathan Vieira, and Mariners can bring it away. Caltac. No chance for Ryan Edmondson to get on the end of that one. Rafalov, forced back to the goalkeeper. Exited in the group stage last season, Johor Darul. They finished third in their group, 7 points behind Kawasaki Frontale. Missed out on progression by just a point though behind Ulsan. Won 3 and lost 3 of their 6 group games. On by Afiq, the substitute. There's Rafalov. Knocked on by Amat to Arif. Chance again to run at Moragas. He's in early this time though. Here's Heberty. Space for Arribas. Trying to cut in on that right foot. Well defended by Storm Ruler. Is desperate to come in on that right and shoot for goal. You can see that, but Storm Ru has read it every time so far. Trying up for offside now. So half an hour gone, 0-0. Point would be enough to put JDT above Pohang Steelers before they play later and into 5th place on goal difference. Really do need the win to put the pressure on Pohang Steelers. Key is to try and finish in the top 4. Kawasaki Frontale, the team currently holding 4th spot with 12 points, 4 ahead of Johor Darul. Sainsbury out to Rue. Now Edmondson bundled over again by Israfilov. He's had his shoulder there, has Edmondson. He's had a fair buffeting in this opening half an hour. Yeah, he just lands heavily on that shoulder. Didn't look particularly positive. Holding on to the collarbone. Well, Mark Jackson taking the opportunity to get some instructions on board. Former defender during his playing days, played 19 times for Leeds United in England. Featured for Scunthorpe, Kidderminster, Rochdale, before dipping into the non-league with Farsley Celtic. Oh, we've already lost Roque Meza for Johor Darul to Zim. Oh, we're about to lose Ryan Edmondson from Central Coast Mariners. He felt something go immediately. He came up from that challenge with Israfilov as if to suggest that his collarbone had gone. You're using the shirt as a makeshift sling. And so Ryan Edmondson's day is over. It's on the end of a fair bit of treatment from Eddie Israfilov. Of really hefty challenges that went unpunished, and that was more of a shoulder to shoulder, but he's just fallen awkwardly. He makes way for Alu Kuol. Bergson, caught by Kaltak. And there's a yellow card. And that is the end of the Champions League Elite for Kaltak this season. A yellow card away from suspension. He's now picked that up. First booking of the game for the Central Coast Mariners centre-back. An international, by the way, for Vanuatu, has over 30 caps for them. So Perrett Cullen on his toes. Hasn't had a great deal to do, despite the fact Johor have had a lot of the ball. Hasn't had a save to make yet. Is that about to change? Heberty and Jonathan Vieira both over this. It's quite a way out. It would be a spectacular strike to get the better of it. And it's driven straight into the wall. Arif shielding the ball out for a throw. It's a poor free kick that from Heberty. Now Afik. There's a bit of space. Heberty has overrun it and Kaltak clears it away. There's Rafilov. To Arif again. Afik. Switched out by Nacho Insa to Amat. By Roux. Hefty collision between Alvaro and Faisal. Faisal back up though. It's certainly been a physical first half. Just got his toe to the ball, Faisal, and once he did that, the collision was inevitable. Alvaro Gonzalez is the player down. It's been a couple of years with Marseille on loan in France. 20 appearances. Host of games for the likes of Zaragoza, Espanyol, Villarreal. It's going to be a free kick for Johor now. Led with the arm, Faisal. Space now for Bergson. He's got in behind Sainsbury. Oh, it's a long way out to attempt a shot from there. Wasn't the best hit. Behind by Perak Cullen. I think the flag has now belatedly gone up for offside, is it? So well off, Bergson. Not the most convincing of strikes anyway, was it, from there? Though, as he was offside. It's their opening 3 games in this competition, Central Coast Mariners, before the 2-2 draw here with Shanghai Shenhua in November. And defeats in their last 2 against the Japanese champions Vissel Kobe and last season's Champions League runners-up Yokohama F. Marinos. Marinos who topped the group on goal difference from Gwangju and Vissel Kobe. They all have 13 points, and now a problem for Trent Sainsbury. First half that's been littered with injuries. And they certainly won't want to lose their captain, especially looking ahead to their A-League matches coming up. Western Sydney Wanderers, Western United and Melbourne Victory all on the horizon once they're done with the Asian Champions League Elite. Like Johor Darul Tazim, there are no domestic games between this one and Kawasaki Frontale next week, but it looks as though he was holding the hamstring, and well, he's handing the armband over to Brian Kaltak, so it looks as though it's the end of the game for Trent Sainsbury. And inside 40 minutes, we have a third player leaving the game due to injury. Roque Meza, Johor, and then Ryan Edmondson, the centre forward, and now their captain and centre back Trent Sainsbury will make his way off. He's replaced by Diesel Harrington. Here's Kaltak. It's a massive blow, the injury to Trent Sainsbury. Domestic hopes this season. Clipped over the top by Vieira. Now Heberty. Bergson. Now Jonathan Vieira. Too heavy a touch though, and Roux happy to leave it for his goalkeeper, Perak Cullen. As well as struggling in 9th place. They're already out of the Australia Cup, the main domestic cup competition. They were beaten by Heidelberg, a second-tier team. Plays in the Victoria League. Beaten there 3-1. Season's glorious campaign with what at the moment is an inglorious one. There's Vieira. Bergson. Touch off by DePizio. There's a hefty challenge on Alu Kuol. Over the top, but cut out by Israfilov. He's well out of play. Well, 9 years out of Asian club competition, returned to the AFC Cup last season, which they won in the Champions League Elite, but it's not looking good for AFC club participation next season for Central Coast Mariners. JDT have no such problems, on course for an 11th straight Malaysian Super League title, having never been Malaysian champions prior to their current run of dominance. There's Arribas. There's Rafilov. Amat in space. All the way through again for Arif. DePizio. That's out of play for a Johor throw. That in, Moragas. Right. Out by Nacho Insa. Amat. Space now for Jonathan Vieira. He's released Arif here. Turned away from Caltac. The flag is up. A tough first half for Lucas Moragas against the very tricky Arif. Yeah, it wasn't Arif's fault that really for running offside. Jonathan Vieira just held the pass for too long. 30 odd seconds to go, but you imagine there'll be a fair bit of stoppage time here. Cullen then with the free kick for Mariners. 6 minutes to be added on. Looks out at 2 with an injury, that, doesn't it? Sainsbury, Edmondson and OK Mesa having all gone off. Launched forward by Amat. Arribas able to keep it in play. A throw for the Mariners. The goalkeeper's really had anything to do in this first half. Johor putting the first part of the game plan into action pretty well in terms of dominating the ball. They've created nothing really in terms of a clear-cut opportunity for Perak Cullen to deal with. The one time he did make a save from Bergson. Bergson was well offside. So it wouldn't have counted anyway. There's Heberty. There's Jonathan Vieira, that's more like it. Arif in space now, the goalkeeper committed. He's taken down Arif. And could be in big trouble here. It is a red card for Perak Cullen. And bang on cue, just as I said, he's had nothing to do. Came charging out of the penalty area. And you do wonder if there was any need to, really. But having done so, Arif had gone round him. And he took down the Malaysian winger, and there was only going to be one outcome. And Central Coast Mariners are down to 10. He's covering defenders there. It was crazy from Perak Cullen. It's a lovely ball to Arif, but once he controlled that, it's a red card all day long, because if he doesn't bring him down, he's got a shot at the empty goal. It is being checked, by the way. So just await confirmation that this red card will stand. It's going to be a free kick. He's heading off, and I think he's being told that the red card is being checked. They're lining up for the free kick, so if it is a free kick, he's definitely off. So he'll play no further part in this game, or indeed in this season's competition, because he, of course, will bring with it a suspension for the match against Kawasaki Frontale. So that's a centre-back and a goalkeeper there now be missing for that. Adam Pavlicic is getting ready to come on. So they will need to remove an on-field player for that to take place. Well, this VAR check, we of course are going to play significantly longer. And there is the change. So Miguel de Pizio is the player replaced by Adam Pavlicic. Going to make another change as well. Kozewski is coming on for Maragis. Maragis will probably be mightily relieved. He's had a really tough time of it up against Arif. Found himself out of position. And Arif with all sorts of space. Results: Perak Cullen sent off, Adam Pavlicic is on. And Central Coast Mariners will have made 4 substitutions by half-time. Heberty over this one. His last free kick went straight into the wall. He'll be hoping for better on this occasion, especially against Adam Pavlicic. He hasn't exactly had time to warm up too much. Can the Malaysian champions get the breakthrough here? Right on the stroke of half-time. It's over the wall this time, it's off the post! And it's a tap-in from Bergson. And Johor Darul do take the lead. against the 10 men of Central Coast Mariners. Celebrations amongst the Malaysian contingent of the support here. Much better free kick this time from Heberty, and Bergson on hand to follow in, but it is being checked. Well, they're appealing for offside, I think. Heberty off the post, and as it came back, Amat couldn't get there, Bergson could. And VAR will be taking a long look at this. When Amat plays it across, is Bergson offside? Well, it is not going to count. It is offside, it remains 0-0. Central Coast Mariners will feel that finally something has gone their way. Well, he's not off there when the initial free kick is taken. Comes back off the post, and there he is offside because the ball goes forward from Amat. Oh, had he just been a little bit more patient, of course it's instinctive. And it remains Central Coast Mariners 0, Johor Darul to 0, and Bergson is denied his second goal of the Asian Champions League Elite group stage. Is Rafilov. Arif. Bergson's header. And it's straight at the goalkeeper, Pavlicic. This is more like it from JDT. Perhaps the extra space out there is helping, but they're finally finding that killer ball in the dying embers of the first half. The ball to set Arif away that created all the trouble. Navarro leaving it for Nacho Insa. Afik. Here's Heberty. Nacho Insa. First half that didn't have a great deal to write home about, but it's all been crammed into the last few moments. Ball one back here by Harrison Steele. Not the best ball though to Alu Kuol, who, like Ryan Edmondson before him, the centre forward he replaced, has barely had any service at all. Vieira. Afik. All over the top for Arif to chase, and he got there. Not behind by Kozewski. He has the unenviable task of trying to keep Arif quiet. Did well there, though. Corner, though, for Johor. Third of the game. Stands the cross up, Bergson appealing for handball. Gets another bite at it, the Brazilian. And the flag up anyway for offside. And they're checking a potential handball here. Bergson was quick to appeal for it. It's the third VAR check we've had here in first half stoppage time, which is why we've gone way beyond the 6 minutes. No handball is the decision. It's come off the back of Caltac, if anything, hasn't it? Let's see from here. Yeah, it's the ribs. His arm was up, but fortunately for him, it was above the ball as well. Nacho Insa. And it is half-time. And Central Coast Mariners probably the happier of the two teams with the scoreline. JDT have dominated the ball without really creating a great deal. The first half that has seen us lose Ryan Edmondson, Trent Sainsbury and Rocker Meza to injury, and the goalkeeper Dylan Perak-Cullen to a red card after he brought down Arif. Johor Darul Tazim with a goal ruled out as well. Bergson adjudged to have been offside at half-time. It's Central Coast Mariners 0, Johor Darul Tazim 0.
mistaken identity when the referee cautions or sends off the wrong player of the offending team. Stationed in the video operations room, the VAR team will have access to all camera feeds and will automatically check every match incident. In the event of a clear and obvious error, the VAR communicates with the referee immediately, after which the referee will signal a check by pointing to their ear to indicate that the restart of play is being delayed. The VAR can suggest a review, but only the referee can initiate the review by signaling the underlying...
Welcome back to the Industry Group Stadium. There it is 0-0 between Central Coast Mariners and Johor Darul Tazim. Matchday 7 of the AFC Champions League Elite League stage in the East region. There's been another change for Central Coast Mariners, so that will be 5 substitutions now for them. Christian Teo Harus has come on for the second half.
Substitution for your Central Coast Mariners. In the field, number 21, Abdel Faisal.
Abdel Faisal is the player who's been replaced. Well, they could do with a goal in the second half, the Malaysian champions. Thought they had one just before the break, but ruled out for offside against Bergson. Hector Bedolio plotting his route to the Central Coast Mariners goal. So it's Johor Darul Tazim who kick off the second half. 45 minutes away from being only the second team that Central Coast Mariners have taken a point off in the Malaysian Champions League Elite. They've been on top, they've been the better side. Now they have a full half against a Central Coast Mariners team, bottom of the table, and now down to 10 after the red card for Dylan Perak Cullen, their goalkeeper, so denying Arif a clear goal-scoring opportunity. And here is Arif. Over by Docker, no foul says the referee, and Central Coast Mariners have it. It's a perfect opportunity now really for Johor Darul Tazim to end their poor away form at this level of competition. Won 3 of their last 10 away games at this level. 5 defeats and a draw. Haven't won in their last 5 from home, and haven't won any of their previous 3 in this season's competition on the road. The only point from their travels coming in a 2-2 draw in Shanghai against Shanghai Port. Joe Insa sliding in. There's Oscar Arribas. There's Rafilov. Heberty. Joe Insa sweeps it out to Jonathan Vieira. Jonathan Vieira, Arif, causing all sorts of problems for Central Coast Mariners towards the end of the first half. They defended pretty well actually up until the Arif incident. Arribas. By insert to Afik. And now Jordi Amat. Back by Arif. There's Rafilov to Alvaro. Jonathan Vieira. Rebas forward on that far side, continues the run into the penalty area. It's switched across to Jordi Amat. Nacho Insa. Jonathan Vieira. Deeper and deeper Central Coast Mariners when they're defending, especially now with a player less. Heberty hits one. Did that take a deflection on the way through from the Brazilian? Seems not. Still no time there with the turn and shot, a dipping effort. Struck the post with that free kick in the first half, which Bergson put away on the rebound, but judged to have been offside as Amat played it back to him. Draw here would move JDT on to 9 points. Lots of Shanghai Port, Boomerang United just a point behind them. Shenhua and Shandong as well. The Chinese teams have just be a couple of points behind as well. Pavlicic finally pounces on the loose ball. The inclination will be to look upwards from JTT. They have to look over their shoulder as well. By no means safe of a place in the knockout rounds yet. By Kaltak from Kozewski. Docker. Steele. Tried to clip it forward for the run of Kozewski. Ball over the top for Arif, who's in all sorts of space. Bergson screaming in the centre, and it's saved by Pavlicic. Really had to score that, the Brazilian. Pavlicic stood strong on either side of him, and that was 1-0. Heberty blocked away by Kuol. Here's Amat. The same ball that caught out Central Coast Mariners just before half-time, sending Arif clear. And he laid it on a plate for Bergson. The Brazilian couldn't take it. Nacho Insa. Amat. But they are beginning to get chances now. Johor Darul is in, which they weren't for large periods of the first half. Rebas wins the throw. Big save from Pavlicic. Rebas with the cross in. Jonathan Vieira. Insa to Heberty. Now Amat. Here's Arif. Insa. It's found its way through to Bergson again. Vieira with the header. Here's Rebas. Cuts in, this time does get the shot away, but it's deflected behind for a corner. Rebas and Amat can be afforded the opportunity now to pile forward effectively as extra wingers for JDT. Quickly taken. Heberty blocked by Kuol. On for the loose ball, which as Rafilov wins. Here's Insa. Afik. By Alvaro to Heberty. Arif. Kazewski quickly across. Arif almost wriggled his way through. Afik pulls it back, and that's going to be a corner. A strong start to the second half from Johor. There's that chance. Did sit up as he hit it, but have to be getting that away from the goalkeeper. At this level, that's a big chance for Bergson. Arif's delivery, headed away by Kuol, who's done more work defensively since replacing Ryan Edmondson at centre forward. And he has done in the opposition's final third. Vieira. Amat. It's a one-way street at the moment, this. Switched out to Heberty. Crossing again, looking for Bergson. And the whistle goes, and a bit of respite for Mariners. A little foul there by Afik. And Doc. Pavlicek, who very nearly conceded in the first action he was involved in. Free kick coming back off the post and Bergson turning in, but certainly played his part now with that save. Heberty. Rare opportunity for Pavlicek, the 22-year-old. He's been second fiddle to the 18-year-old Perak Cullen this season. Very young goalkeeping contingent at Central Coast Mariners. Of their 4 goalkeepers, Pavlicek is the eldest at 22. Here's Vieira. Put in by Teo Harus, the substitute. And a lovely little turn as well. A chance for Central Coast Mariners to get forwards. There's Kuol. Good work there, though, from Christian Teo Harus. That's played in behind for Bergson to chase, but Pavlicek will get there. Little turn from Teo Harus. Started the 1-1 draw at Perth Glory on Friday, which was a 4th successive draw following draws with Newcastle Jets, Western United and Wellington Phoenix. And of course, we're a 5th successive draw in all competitions at the moment, but this one's still at 0-0. Been the problem this season for Central Coast Mariners as opposed to the last, turning those draws into victories. Shifted on by Docker. Cool, playing it forward for Kazewski to chase, and that's going to be a throw for Mariners. And that putting it into touch. Really bandaged up, isn't it? Around the knee there of Roque Meza. Kaltak. Bergson almost cutting that out from Pavlicek. His eyes lit up for a second, and then Pavlicek realised and changed direction. Nacho Insa. Afik. Dominating every aspect of this game. The Malaysian champions, apart from the scoreline. Touch back by Ribas. Cross into the box, it's gone all the way through. Here's Bergson on the turn, beaten away again by Pavlicic. And another chance goes begging for Johor. But the respite isn't for long because it's Jonathan Vieira who wins another corner. Beaten away by Pavlicic. And was there again. And the ball fired in, Bergson on the end of it. Finds its way over the crossbar, and that's a goal kick. Still over half an hour to go. And you can't help but feel that a goal is coming for Johor Darul Tazim. Hector Bedolio will certainly hope so. They have home advantage, but that's going to be tough next week against Pohang Steelers for his side. 3 points here would take them to 11. You would feel that that would probably be enough to send them through. I won't know, of course, until all the results are in from match day 7. Alain's reign, of course, is over. Eliminated from the West region. And touch back into the centre here towards Kuol. Team they beat, though, in last year's final, Yokohama F. Marinos, going well. At the top of the East, they'll be hoping for a better season this time around. The J-League getting underway at the weekend. Here's Arif. Hebati, good ball over the top. Hooked on by Vieira. Lovely ball by Hebati. And Vieira just trying to clip it over Pavlicic. Watched it all the way. Arribas. Now Hebati. Look how deep they're sitting, Central Coast Mariners. They know it's going to be a case of trying to cling on for the draw here. Maybe try and nick something on the break or from a set piece. Vieira's ball in towards Bergson. The header away is played back in by Arribas from Harrington's initial clearance. Handball given against him here. Not sure it touches the arm at all, though. Flipped on by Zrafilov. Contact getting there ahead of Hebati. He's pushing further and further forward now, the central midfielder for JDT. Harrington clears. Maybe as far as Alvaro. Nocho Insa. Jonathan Vieira, again making the play for Johor Darul Tazim. Oscar Arribas, on to Hebati, drives it across, blocked behind by Harrington. Hebati to deliver the corner, the 7th of the game. One team yet to win one. And towards the penalty spot, too high for Bergson. Arif clips it to the back post and it's headed off the bar. And Mariners survive again. And they've done everything but score in this game. What a ball that was by Arif. Vieira gets it back again. Vieira, it's opened up for the shot and Pavlicic saves. Arif again. Drives it across the box and put behind by Harrington for another corner. Well, they cannot survive if this pressure continues, Central Coast Mariners. They've ridden their luck already. Vieira. Joe Insa, Arif. Challenged by Kaltak. It's another corner. Kuol rather, sorry, with the challenge on Arif. Corner taken short. Here's Insa. Now Vieira. Heberty can hit them from here. It's blocked away though. Now Nacho Insa. Arif going on the outside, pulls it back. And there is the opening goal. It has been coming. And tucked away by Alvaro, and they can celebrate midway through the second half. It was only a matter of time. But Johor Darul have their lead. And a thoroughly deserved lead at that. Well, they had one ruled out. They've been denied by a number of Pavlicic saves. They've hit the crossbar. What a pullback from Arif. And Alvaro Gonzalez, the centre-back, on hand to sweep the ball in. Central Coast Mariners 0. Johor Darul 1. And the Malaysian champions deservedly in front. The game they simply had to win, really. If they were to potentially avoid dropping out of the top 8, Pohang Steelers to come will be a tough, tough game. And Central Coast Mariners now heading for a 6th defeat out of 7. In the East Region League stage of the AFC Champions League Elite. Vieira. Bergson. Vieira. They've been turning the screw since half-time of Johor. Look at that. 19 shots, 6 on target. Nothing from the home team. They lost Sainsbury and Edmondson to injury, and then Perak Cullen, their goalkeeper, to a red card. They've used all 5 substitutions. Here's Amat. Amat. On by Alvaro to Jonathan Vieira. Now Afik. Just one win in their last 4 Champions League Elite games. The 3-0 win against Ulsan. Both their wins have been 3-0 home wins against Shanghai Shenhua, as well as the win against Ulsan. They failed to score in their last 2. 1-0 loss at Shandong Taishan, and then the 0-0 draw with Buriram United. Little flick by Kuol. Kazewski after it. They've certainly made hard work of getting the breakthrough here of Johor, but they finally have done so. Docker. It's probably been the standout really for the home team. Shifts it across, a bit of space here maybe. He's just leaving that. And back with Harrington. Fends off the challenge of Bergson. Nacho Insa. Zaribas charging forward, overran it though. And Kuol was caught there. And the yellow card. And certainly laying from Alvaro. He has a yellow card to go with his goal. Kick for Mariners, and a rare opportunity to put Johor under a bit of pressure here. It's quite a way out. Docker feeds it in, it's gone right the way through, and it's an equaliser! Would you believe it, from Kuol? And with their first attempt on goal, Central Coast Mariners have levelled the tie. And it is 1-1. But the flag has now gone up. A cacophony of boos around the stadium. It's very hesitantly put up, you have to say, from the assistant. A free kick from Docker. It was a really good delivery. The header back across from Kaltak. And Kuol bundles it in. Doesn't seem a great deal wrong with that. Can't really see where Kuol's position is from that angle. The flag has gone up, by the looks of it, for offside. Kaltak asking the question whether or not it was him. Goal is being checked. There's nobody off there. Good header back across from Kaltak. And Kuol puts it in. What a response, just 4 minutes after going behind. Hadn't had a shot on target until that moment from Kuol. And the goal has been given. It is 1-1. And after all that work, Johor Darul to Zim's lead, lasting for just 4 minutes. And it is Mariners 1, Johor 1 here. And the draw specialists, Central Coast Mariners, are at it again. Nacho Insa. And Johor Darul to Zim have to lift themselves and go again. Arif. Header away from Kaltak. Nacho Insa. There's Arribas. Well, what a strange game football is. That's why everybody loves it. You just couldn't see a goal coming from Central Coast Mariners in any way, shape or form. Hadn't hadn't had an attempt off target, let alone on target. And then lo and behold, after falling behind, they level with pretty much their first significant ball in the JDT penalty area. Out from Alvaro. Arribas sends the cross in. Arif did well to get a foot on that, but just couldn't pull it back, and it's pounced upon by Pavlicic. Well, there's the pullback for the opening goal. And at that stage, you're looking at a question of how many, really, for Johor Darul Tazim, but no. 4 minutes later, Kuol, it was only on because Ryan Edmondson seemed to have injured his collarbone in the first half. And to be fair to Kuol, he's worked so hard on the back foot, helping out his defence. And now he has capped his performance with a goal. Nacho Insa. Away by Roux. Now Kuol, the goal scorer. Been true to their word, Central Coast Mariners, haven't they? About fighting to the end. They certainly don't have a look of a side who can't qualify out of contention with 2 games to spare. There's Jonathan Vieira. Heberty. Here's Arif. From Bergson, and then Heberty off target. All they mustn't do is get frustrated again. All of a sudden, they've gone from being a goal up with 25 minutes to go to being level again with only a quarter of an hour left. Credit to Mark Jackson's side for not throwing in the towel once they conceded. It's a well-worked set piece. The ball from Docker was terrific. Kaltak getting to that back post to head it back across, and Kuol did the easy bit. Thumping header from Rafilov. Touch back from Nacho Insa. Put in by Harrington. Does finish level. I wonder what that will mean come the end of the league phase for Johor Darul Tazim. Here's Bergson. If they drop points here, it certainly makes their final game against Pohang Steelers, the side directly above them in the table, a whole lot more awkward. Here's Amat. Steelers, of course, a club with a rich history in this competition. 3-time Asian champions, 4-time finalists. Heberty stands that one up. Kaltak with the header away. Alvaro. Now Arribas. Swings the cross in. Harrington's header out. Arribas playing the 1-2 with Afi is Nacho Insa. Arribas again. Not by Kuol, that's another corner for Johor. Ambitious shot from there from Vieira, beaten out by the goalkeeper, and then just wide of the post from his Rafilov on the follow-up. Awkward dipping effort. Pavlicic couldn't hold it, and then his Rafilov denied by the block of Kaltak. See Seen his central defensive partner, Alvaro Gonzalez, score the opening goal, and is Rafalov going close there to regaining the lead for Johor. Rebas with the corner. Jonathan Vieira. And Nacho Insa. Space to work with now for Heberty. He sends the cross in, it's flicked on and in. And it's Alvaro again. 2-1 for Johor. And what a night for their centre-back, Alvaro Gonzalez. Delicious ball in from Heberty. And just a little flick off the head of Alvaro. And Johor Darul have their lead back. It's a lovely ball. And just guided goalwards by Alvaro. Thought for a second it was going to come back out off the post, but just had the spin going the right way to take it in. Knew what he was doing. It's a lovely header from Alvaro. And it's a beautiful delivery as well from Heberty. And it is Central Coast Mariners 1, Johor Darul 2. And what a night for Alvaro Gonzalez. Talk about stepping up, the Spanish centre-back with both the goals. The Malaysian champions back in front again, and on course for the win they need. It is so tight in and around the top 8. Ulsan realistically have too much to do, but the two Chinese Super League clubs, Shanghai Shenhua and Shandong Taishan, really putting the pressure on those above them. It's a fight really between the sides from 5th down to 10th. A little flick on by Doka. Well, whatever happens, his side have shown plenty of fighting spirit here. Themselves back level after falling behind, having to play so long with 10. There's Jonathan Vieira. Johor finally finding their cutting edge after 2 blanks in this competition in their last 2 games. As though they were heading that way in the first half as well, until the moment of the match where Arif was fouled by Perak Cullen. Handball given against Arif this time. Unquestionably, that was the turning point, the red cards. Well, whether it's been Maragis in the first half or Kozewski after he came on to replace him, Arif has had a real knack of finding that space in behind the full-back that's marking him. Kozewski. Yellow card out here for Jordi Amat. Have to come forward again. There's Ames. Now Bergson to get the foot in. Vieira. Heberty. There's Rafalov with the touchback to Zubia Ure. Well, this will be the first match to finish today in the East region, so JDT will go into 5th spot with a victory here. Bergson with the touch off to Heberty, who's lost it. Now Docker, good challenge by Amat. There's Arif. Free kick. Yeah, JDT would move on to 11 points. They'd be 2 ahead of Pohang Steelers, so puts pressure on them to win their game. But 11 points could well be enough to see them through. Just need to wait for all the results to come in before they see what they have to do in their final game. Same for the Koreans as well. Heberty. It's Rafilov. Certainly opens up the final day permutations, this league stage format. Here's Heberty. Back by Afik. Well, once bitten and all that, you need to be careful here, Johor. Solid header from Kaltak. Docker. Zubia Ure, who's had nothing to do other than pick the ball out of the net after Kuol scored. Mariners' only attempt on goal in the whole game. Is Rafilov. Alvaro in the rare position of being on a hat-trick now, the centre-back. There's Ames. Played in behind here. Kuol's in the centre. It's played back behind Kuol though from Teo Harus. Let's have a man down here, and he doesn't look in particularly good shape either. They'll be glad to get this one across the line, Johor. That's a ball right into the temple of Docker. It's hit with some pace as well, that from Bergson. It's easy to underestimate just how hard they hit the ball at this level. Bergson thought he was on the score sheet, but not so. Obregon replaces him. Bergson's goal ruled out just before half-time, but he's had a decent game in all. Obregon, who has 4 goals in 7 appearances domestically, is on the Colombian. Docker gingerly making his way off here. And if that is the end of the game for him, then that will be the 3rd player that they've lost to injury. De Lima comes on.
Concussion substitution for the Central Coast Mariners. Leaving the
It's
field,
a
number 10.
concussion substitution, which is De Lima is allowed to be the 6th change. That's to Arthur De Lima. A taste of Champions League Elite action. Foul immediately on Obregon. Here's Amat. It's a match that's got a bit of everything, isn't it? Hector Godolio's side just minutes away from picking up 3 crucial points, just their 3rd win of the league stage. It may work out that it will already be enough ahead of their final game against Pohang Steelers next week. Let's raffle off the player down. Making a bit of a meal of that is Rafalov. And there is going to be 6 minutes added on, the same as there was in the first half, but ended up playing significantly longer because of all the incidents that took place within that 6 minutes before half-time. It's been a long night for him, hasn't it? He'll feel his team have made much harder work of this than perhaps they should have done. Too many chances passed up. They weren't even creating a great deal in that first half. Adam Pavlasek has had a great deal more to do than Perak Kulin did before he was sent off. Hadn't really had a save to make until the incident with Arif. Kuol leans heavily after the challenge from Israfilov. He's already seen off Ryan Edmondson and hoping to do the same with Alu Kuol, but he's back on his feet. The yellow card is out. I presume it was for Eddie Israfilov. So a free kick anyway for Central Coast Mariners. Now, the last time they had a set piece, it was a bit closer in than this. It resulted in Kuol's goal back. It's fed into the penalty area again. And just to confirm, Andoni Zubiore was the player shown a yellow card, so it must have been for dissent to the referee as opposed to the challenge from Israfilov. It's getting a little heated now from Sasha Kozewski. Been a really competitive game. You certainly wouldn't have known that Central Coast Mariners had nothing to play for with regards to the competition. breaking up. Kozewski booked as well. Foul by Harrington. A free kick for Johor. Shove on Jonathan Vieira. Rafalov puts that one over the top for Obregon to chase. Header by Kaltak. Obregon, who scored on the opening match night against Shanghai Shenhua. That's his only goal of the Champions League Elite so far, though. Kaltak back to Pavlicic. From Amat. Kozewski. The urgency from Mark Jackson to get the ball back in play. Desperate to avoid a home defeat. On by Kuol. Now Ames. Back to Ames again. Just tried to play the neat little triangle, but it didn't really come off. A throw for Johor. This is going to be a fifth home game without a win now since the 2-1 win against Sydney in all competitions. Drawing their last two, but heading for defeat unless they can pull another rabbit out of the hat, as they did to equalise 4 minutes after going a goal down. Repeat of their AFC Cup heroics last season when they went all the way in the second-tier competition. Here's Arif. Well played by Arif. He's picked out Heberty. He ships it on one more. Obregon. Now Afik. Played through by Afik. Oh, Ribas for a second thought he was through. Here's Heberty. Now Arif. Kozewski across and shields it out for a goal kick. One last chance maybe to get it forward for Mariners. The last home game in the Champions League Elite. I wonder how long it'll be until the next one, but they've got a chance here now. De Lima's done well. Now, yellow card in hand. Eddie Rafalov finally goes into the book. To be honest, that's been coming since the opening 5 minutes of the game. There's now 3 of the back 4 and the goalkeeper booked for Johor. Is there to be a sting in the tail then? Kozewski over this. Minimum of 6 minutes have been played. Pavlicic is forward for Central Coast Mariners. Could they grab a goal? And with it, only their second point of the league stage. A massive blow for Johor if they concede here. 2 mightily crucial points in real jeopardy if this goes in. And by Kozewski. And the header on is over the top from Kuol. And that should be that now for Johor Darul Tazim and Hector Vidolio. Good delivery from Kazewski on the head of Kuol, but he couldn't keep it down. And the night belongs to Johor Darul Tazim and to Alvaro Gonzalez in particular. They can celebrate. A big puff of the cheeks from Hector Vidolio. It was that kind of evening. It was a result that was hard fought for the Malaysian champions. Alvaro putting them in front before Kuol somehow found an equaliser for Central Coast Mariners. But then 10 minutes later, Alvaro on hand again to head home his and Johor Darul Tazim's second. It is a first away win in this season's competition. It is their third win in the league stage, and they will go into a final day meeting with Pohang Steelers next Tuesday with home advantage and with 11 points in the bag. It is looking very good now for a place in the last 16 for the Malaysian champions. Mariners, they already knew they were out, but they battled well this evening. They remain on 1 point. It's finished Central Coast Mariners 1, Johor Darul Tazim 2.